Hey bear. That was awesome. Oh, still right here. 40 yards. I think it's a sow. There's probably cubs in here, if I had to guess. Really weird bear behavior. It's not a very big bear. Decent. Oh, here she comes. I'm guessing there's cubs in here. I don't want to have to shoot this bear. Very aggressive behavior. Probably has some cubs in here, would be my guess. Why she's acting that way. Holy cow, guys. That was freaking awesome. Oh man, I really hope the video turned out and you guys were able to see that bear. That was just crazy how that happened. That's the second time I've had that happen to me while bear hunting. And the first time, unfortunately, I didn't have a camera. So quick recap. I'm on an old logging road. It's kind of on a north-facing canyon slope. It's really grassy, as you can see here behind me. And I've hunted this logging road probably at least 3 different times, early mornings like this, and I always see fresh bear sign in here. But I've never seen a bear in here on the logging road. There's no place that you can glass it from to like hunt and shoot across into it. Like, you just got to be on it. And sometimes the wind's good, sometimes it's bad, but this morning the wind was perfect. I'm still hunting up the logging road, and I sit down on a big log to just kind of take a break really quick and just kind of relax. And all of a sudden I hear the huffing up in the tree. I look up, and probably 80 yards away is this chocolate colored bear in a tree, and he's probably 10-15 feet off the ground. So I started the recording, and I wolfed at him, and he came down out of the tree and then ran up the ridge and went up another tree. So I ran up there hoping to get some better footage and get a better look at him. When they're in a tree, it's just so hard to judge how big they are. Chocolate colored bear, obviously, and whether it was a boar or a sow. At this point, I'm pretty confident it was a sow, but I don't know for sure. Pretty aggressive behavior for a bear, so it makes me lean towards it's probably a sow that had cubs in here. Usually you can hear the cubs when they scramble up a tree. You'll see them or hear them, but they could have been up a little bit farther. It's hard to say where they were at, if there's any cubs at all. I don't know. But long story short, obviously, I walked up. She came down out of the tree and was at the base of the tree at about 50 yards. And I could have shot her right then and there. I could have shot her in the tree twice, 2 different trees. And just trying to size it up. And that was a pretty decent sized bear. I would say 250 pounds, maybe 275 pounds, over 5 foot for sure. It was definitely not a little bear, but it definitely wasn't a giant bear either. And it was chocolate, so really awesome opportunity. So blessed and so thankful. Thanks, Lord, for that awesome opportunity to be in here and to see a bear that close. She obviously came down out of the tree, and she ran off, and then she came back. And so that's why I think there's more than likely there's some cubs in there somewhere. And a lot of that behavior was to draw away from the cubs and also to protect the cubs and to communicate with them. Like I said, I've seen that happen once before, and it was definitely a sow that did it the time before as well. So pretty cool experience. Awesome. It's starting to rain now, of course. It's right at 12:20 on Sunday morning. So noon, I should say. Perfect day to be out bear hunting. Now we just need to find a big black one. Yes. That was awesome, you guys. I hope you get to see it. I hope you get to check it out. That bear's back in a tree. Well, I don't know if she's in a tree, but she's right here. There's gotta be cubs in here. Otherwise, she wouldn't come back. Pretty cool. So we can get some more footage of her, but I'm not gonna antagonize her anymore. We don't need to have a bad bear encounter. There's maybe 80 yards. All right, let's take a moment to reflect on that bear encounter. Pretty awesome, obviously. Something that gets the blood pumping and the adrenaline flowing a little bit. Super awesome experience, but something I want to touch on briefly about that encounter that I think is worth mentioning for educational purposes. Obviously, so after I encountered that bear the first time, I hiked up the logging road and continued to hunt up into kind of the end of that logging road. Well, the logging road goes quite a ways up farther, but there's one last little clear cut that is worth hunting, and hit the end of that and then came back out and obviously encountered that bear again, right where I encountered her the first time. And so that definitely solidified to me that that's a sow, and that she's got cubs in there. A boar wouldn't have come back to that spot like that. So it's good to know that behavior is indicative of a sow that's obviously trying to protect her cubs, which can be a very dangerous situation, especially with any bear. Regardless of size, if they've got cubs, they're going to do what they can to protect that. And she was very gracious, and even though her behavior was somewhat aggressive, she never charged really. She did once at one time when she came out of that tree, the second tree, and you heard me say, "Hey bear." She was coming at me at that point, and I don't say coming at me like charging at me, but she was coming towards me. And as soon as I said, "Hey bear," she turned and went broadside and started circling around me. But here's what I really want to touch on. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching a hunting show on YouTube, and it was a situation where there was a guide and a hunter. The hunter was the host of the show, and they were hunting in Canada. They were black bear hunting, and they were kind of hunting similar, like logging roads, telephone cuts, and whatnot. And pretty good show for the most part, but something happened in that video that upset me quite a bit. They encountered a black bear that was feeding out near a power. They must have like these little power buildings that run the power lines, and it was a beautiful jet black boar, a bear that I would have been very happy and would take in a heartbeat. And so I think probably for the purpose of the show, they snuck up on the bear. And when I say snuck up, they just pretty much walked towards it as it was feeding in this little grassy area. And the host said, and the host hunter said during this stalk, as they were sneaking up, that he really wasn't interested in killing that bear. It wasn't big enough. It wasn't a bear that they were going to shoot. And after he said that, they continued to stalk closer to the bear. And I think, and this is my perception, and I think they were probably doing it to get good video, because it's pretty cool, because it's a nice bear, and they end up stalking within 20-30 yards of this bear. And this is a rifle hunt, not an archery hunt. And several points throughout that time, the host said, "This isn't a bear I'm going to take. He's not big enough. We're not interested." And yet they continued to encroach on the bear, and ultimately they got in the bear's personal space, and it was a boar. He started showing that aggressive behavior, started posturing towards them, started huffing, popping his jaw like she was doing. And even at that point, they continued to get closer to the bear. They didn't really back out. They didn't really move away from the bear. And ultimately the bear charged him, and they shot the bear and killed the bear. And that was pretty upsetting to me, because if that's not a bear you want to kill, if that's not a bear you want to harvest, then why are you putting yourself in that position? I could have very easily did the exact same thing with this sow at any one of those points I could have gotten. I did get a little aggressive, and I did get closer to her when she went into that second tree, because I didn't know. I didn't know if she was a sow. I didn't know if she was a boar. I wanted to get a better look. It looked like a pretty decent sized bear. And she's a good size. She's well over 5.5 foot, and probably 5'8" would be my guess. But I didn't know, and as soon as I realized, that when she came out of the tree that second time, and I got a really good look at her face, my gut told me it was a sow and that there were cubs in the area. And so I let her do her thing, circle around me. I left. I had to come back through there because that's the only way out of here. And I didn't push it anymore. And that's the lesson I think that's worth learning here, is that if you encounter a bear in a situation like that, common sense would tell you not to push it, not to get any closer, and to just back out. And that's all. It was a really awesome experience. I think sometimes people get caught up in trying to capture good B-roll for you guys, and I certainly want to do that too, but I'm not going to do it to the point where it puts me and my safety in jeopardy, or the bear and the bear's safety in jeopardy. So that's it. Rant over.